everyone, this is Ben and Nick here from Lifeologie. We're counselors here, and we want to talk about something today that often goes unnoticed. The big feelings in regards to sports. Nick and I both are big fans of our respective teams, Lions, University of Michigan. And we were talking the other day, and how we deal with them. Because, we feel these things so intensely because we're rooting for our team so hard.
You'd think that because we're counselors we could handle our emotions while watching a sporting event, but...
Yeah, it's just one of those things that specifically when I see my Lions fumble a ball on a 1 yard line, I'm not feeling too hot afterwards.
He should be expecting it, though.
Yeah, it's just one of those tricky things. And with that, we want to talk about feelings in depth and using this sporting event or entertainment that you might like to watch or partake in as an example of how to cope with these big feelings and generalizing it out to other events in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So initially when we start to feel something, like watching a sporting event, I feel it in my body. My heart starts beating fast. I'm anxious.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I get this huge pit in my stomach. Just absolutely just right there. Just huge pit.
So we feel these things in our body, and then as we're processing it, we identify it. I get anxious, like I said, when I'm seeing the score not go in the direction I want. I'm feeling it, and I start to sweat potentially. Like I said, my heart's beating fast. I'm literally feeling like I can run a marathon.
I just have to get off the couch. I have to stand behind the couch and do a little bit of pacing. Not too much, but I definitely can't be sitting.
Okay. So that's how he copes with it. He kind of walks around, gets off the couch.
Mm-hmm.
I do some breathing exercises. This might sound like a very counselor response, but I do some breathing stuff. And also I do like to walk around as well, just to do something to get away from the TV. And we often hear with people feeling these intense feelings as anger being especially one of them, especially at the end of the game. You're devastated. You're furious. You were looking forward to this the entire week. Or Nick, you traveled to some of these games.
Yeah, I had to leave the Army game early because I couldn't take it. And no matter what was going to happen, whether it was a win or loss, I couldn't take it. And at one point I just had to bow out and just say, I don't want to see it because it's going to crush me either way.
Yeah. So he had to leave a game. As Lions fans, typically I just sit there and I watch it to the end, and defeat or winning victory. I know how to process it because of watching the Lions year after year. But one of the things is I specialize in seeing teens, young adult males. Nick works with couples. So Nick, how do you work with this with say couples?
I think a lot that goes down with couples, it comes back to communication with most everything, but especially emotions. If somebody's got a favorite team and the team is not doing hot, the husband might be going around the house yelling, whether that's ordering the kids to do things or who knows. But either way, those emotions from the football game can spill over. And so oftentimes it comes back to hey, why don't you guys help each other out? And hey, you seem upset. Why don't you go take a break? I'll handle the kids. Come back when you're calm. Go for a walk or something. So a lot of it comes back to guarding each other's hearts in that way of just hey, I can see you're upset. I think you should take a break.
Yeah, so it sounds like looking after each other. For me, with teens, especially when I'm talking about big emotions with them and big feelings, it's typically nowadays it's video games. All right, so you lose a game in your video game, and there goes the controller through the TV, or there's screaming, sounding like the world's ending, but it's really just the game ending. And that's not to discredit that, because that is an intense feeling they're experiencing. But how do they cope with that? So a lot of times, like what Nick and I just did here a second ago, talking about what you feel in your body, identifying it, then coming up with healthy, positive ways to cope with it. Oftentimes, depending on the age of people, you hear people watching a sporting event at a bar and ordering the second, third, fourth beer. And then here we go. And it's one of those things that, coping with these intense feelings in a positive way is really important. So that's why associated with this video in the little description below, it has a link to good and healthy coping skills, which are very important because, like I said, this is a small example that can be generalized to your daily life.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely is worth pointing out that depending on the emotion you're feeling, you have to link a coping skill with that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I know that when I'm angry, there's nothing better that I can do for myself than to work out, because I just noticed that my fists are clenched and I need to do something with my hands. Working out is the only thing that I've found so far that has relieved that from me, but I know that when I'm anxious, I need to walk around and I need to actually breathe and get out of the space.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. A big try to be active to release, especially that anger. Like I said, anxiety. I've been trying to do breathing exercises and incorporate that in my daily life. But with any coping skill, though, it takes time to incorporate and develop it as a habit and use it. And I mean, it might be uncomfortable at first, but in time, it becomes something you could potentially rely on and help you through these tough times. So like I said, my name is Ben. This is Nick. We're counselors here at Lifeologie. If you have any questions about this, comment below, or feel free to stop in for a consultation or things like that. But we're available. Like I said, I specialize in teen and young adults. Nick specializes in couples. And we appreciate your time today.
Cool.
Have a good one.
See you guys.